Welcome to the call today on SFTool product search training for the federal procurement and project teams. My name is Paul Shariari. I'm the co-founder and chief innovation officer of Ecomedes, and we are the platform provider that has built out the product search for the GSA. Michael Bloom actually had another thing to attend to today, so he won't be able to join us today. I'll cover all the slides that he normally presents on behalf of the GSA and the program that they run. Thank you all for joining, and we're going to cover a couple things. But before we get started, I'd love to have a quick poll provided to you guys to get a better sense of who's in the audience and what roles you guys play. So I'm going to launch that poll right now, and if you guys could take some time and answer the questions. The first is, what role do you serve in your organization? Help us understand the various different parts that you guys play in terms of the procurement and green project work. Second question will be, how important is sustainability and green in your work? Some of you might be procurement approvals, contracting officers, green specialists. Love to know kind of how important the sustainability and green data is in your work. And then the last question of this first kind of element would be, how often do you need to find green data in your work? Those answers are weekly and monthly, quarterly. Some never, if it's not part of your scope, but we'd love to know those three questions if you guys could answer those before we get started. And I'll watch the answers as they come in, and it'll give me a chance to be more appropriate in terms of the commentary that we're going to cover. There's lots that we're going to explain today on how the SFTool is organized and the kind of data you guys can find really, really quickly. So thank you guys for participating in the poll. You guys are giving great answers, so I'll give you guys another 30 seconds to answer if you could. If you're on the phone, don't worry. I don't want you guys trying to multitask if you're in the car or something like that. But we're almost closing it out, and don't see any other activity, so I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. We'll share the poll results back out with you guys after the call, along with the recording and the slide decks that we're going to cover today. So thank you guys for covering that. The main goals of the session today are to simplify and show you guys how green projects and procurement can be simplified with this tool. It's available to anyone to use. You don't have to be a federal employee or a contracting officer to use it. It's an open website. Anyone can use it. I'm going to show you how the work that we've done is to really improve performance of federal buildings. There's some new EOs and executive orders and implementing instructions that'll probably come out here soon. They'll also be able to drive a better performance increase in federal buildings. You guys are one of the largest occupier buildings in the country, so it'll be available to anyone that wants to use that to make those buildings better. A big driver of what we've built is to increase compliance with existing requirements. So the GPC will cover those. And then I'll show you how all the product data that we have linked to automatically shows you that you can find compliant products very quickly. And ultimately, streamline documentation for your teams. Again, I think some of the implementing instructions that'll come out soon with the EOs will actually describe what you need to present. And we're going to make sure our system matches up and supports the SFTool.gov platform so that documentation can be done seamlessly without doing any extra work on a procurement team's part or a vendor's part. So the topics that we're going to cover is how we consolidate all that green building guidance into a single powerful resource. I believe SFTool.gov is one of the best I've ever seen built for any big institutional buyer. And I've worked for tech companies and worked all around the United States and around the world on green building kind of procurement guidelines. SFTool, I think, is the most comprehensive and easiest to use because it has so much data in one place. We'll review how the GPC, which is the Green Procurement Compilation inside of SFTool, how it organizes product category requirements and recommendations, so you can kind of quickly figure out what's green in this category versus that category. Green procurement kind of means different things in different product categories, whether it's Energy Star and appliances or cradle to cradle inside of furniture. They're all kind of different in terms of how the product category rules work. And I think the GPC does an amazing job of kind of keeping all that stuff organized. We'll learn how the search tool has collected and curated brand and product information performance attributes. Many of the other things that you guys probably use just tell you the requirements or the data that you need to go find. What we've done with SFTool Product Search is collected all the products that meet those data requirements. So you're getting kind of to a productized view. A lot of folks refer to it as kind of like a Whole Foods for green building products that go into buildings. We've curated all the stuff in a normal grocery store into the things that matter to you and the documentation you might need. And in depth, we'll go into a live demo where you guys can, with me, create an account, leverage the tool. We'll show you how the search engine works, how the discovery can be done with a couple of clicks, how you can effortlessly compare things apples to apples, create ROI and energy and water savings potential calculators, create an entire project or procurement level documentation for yourselves just by adding things into kind of essentially a shopping cart or a design cart. And then finally track your progress towards your targets and goals. A lot of you guys might be providing those to your supervisors. We want to make it really, really easy to meet those requirements and not do any extra effort or double work as you guys come to the end of the quarter or the end of the fiscal year. So the first place we'll start is sftool.gov. It is the Sustainable Facilities Tool. It was created in 2011 by the GSA to really amalgamate and aggregate a lot of really good information that had been floating around in a couple different agencies and a couple different people, and they kind of had it locked in spreadsheets and a lot of other guidance documents. So when they built this out, sftool.gov, we try to collaborate and bring all that information into one spot. And it has a couple of major sections that I want to call out. They're usually found if you go to the actual website, the very top of the navigation. So the first one is about learning, a lot of different topics there you can kind of dive into. The major effort of work last year was on health. As you can imagine, it's very, very important to people that have large swaths of real estate and have people inside of it. In the plan section, you can kind of take a look at things like cost-effective upgrades, total workplace scorecards, and explore. You're going to actually evaluate different parts of a typical building and see what are the types of materials that you want to think about, whether it's an office or a break room, data center. And then under procure, we'll spend the majority of our time today, is all about the green procurement compilation, that list of requirements and guidelines all brought into one place so everyone can kind of see them all at once. There's also an apply section that has some really good agency case studies you can have access to, and the facility manager assessment under the train catalog. So every one of these tabs as you progress through sftool.gov will open up more resources to you. I think the last time I was told it was like 7,000 pages of information are within this overall arching sftool.gov. It's a really, really good resource. A lot of my private sector clients are always asking me, like, what's a good example of, you know, some consolidated data? And I actually always point them to this tool. It's a very, very deep and knowledgeable website that can provide a lot of information and learning about what does it mean, and also how do I attack my building and make it better by going after certain criteria. So here on the plan side, there's efficient planning, everything from overall strategy, project type scenarios, and then planning for the future, whether it's net zero, healthy building guidance. All of these things are all outlined to give you a really good roadmap on how to figure out how to make your building better. The explore section is kind of this 3D interactive element where if you kind of go into different parts of the building, it'll open up kind of a three-dimensional diagram of that building, and you can click on these little green dots. And I'll tell you more about what to do in a cafeteria, what to do in an open office area, private office, enclosed conference spaces, break rooms and pantries, laboratory, tenant corridors, computer LAN rooms. So it's a really good kind of specific analysis of what a typical federal building might be going through. They also have building system overviews, whether it's lighting or HVAC, water, IAQ, a really, really good explanation of that to try to help project teams better understand the integration that's important to this process. Obviously, procure is where we're going to spend the most time. Here it is, a breakdown of all the product category rules on one side of the page, and then services are broken down on the other side. So if you're buying fleet maintenance or janitorial services, they even have rules and guidelines for some of those contracts with hyperlinks to any of the other associated resources you might want, with hyperlinks back to that documentation if it lives somewhere else outside of the GPC. Apply, again, those case studies are available. You can kind of look at them through a variety of different lenses, but they're all being updated on a monthly basis. So you have access to the best and brightest examples of how the federal government has deployed some of this thinking. And ultimately, there's a train segment there under the Facilities Management Institute where you can do self-guided training on how much of this information your team members understand. And it's all kind of an open book using SFTool as the book. And you can kind of gauge whether or not, you know, your team members have enough overarching understanding of this whole process. So with that, I'm going to kind of stop and then get back into the GPC, which is the main focus of today. The Green Procurement Compilation, as I said, was started out as a bunch of different category rules that were managed by a couple different people at the GSA and the EPA on spreadsheets. And what they did is they decided to consolidate all those requirements into one spot so people can understand the federal guidelines. They also have a couple tabs in here for Department of Defense, DOE priority products, GSA public building service. Those additional things are like federal plus. So they all have to abide by the federal guidelines that are outlined in the GPC, but these kind of have some other segmentation of products. And in some cases, they go above and beyond what might just be the federal guidelines. So there are some extra tabs in here if you play around with the site. When we go into the live demo, I'll kind of show you how those different elements work, but they're all structured around the same kind of overall product categorizations and the subcategorizations that we'll cover today. So sftool.gov, and then it has a section up here called Procure is where we're going to kind of dive into. And if you were to open up that web page and kind of scroll down, I kind of exploded the elements and kind of rearranged them on the page. But imagine this just running all the way down the page. There's 27 main categories that are found in the GPC. Those are the kind of main product category rules. And underneath every one of them, they have multiple subcategories. So if you were to click on appliances, there's 21 product subcategories under appliances, both commercial and residential. If you clicked on cafeteria products, there's 25 subcategories underneath cafeteria products. Cleaning products has 51 subcategories underneath them. So overall, there's 700 product category, subcategory, and type rules found in the GPC. So it's very, very comprehensive. And again, it covers a lot of things, both inside of buildings, but also carries things like traffic control, vehicles and vehicular products, renewable energy, refrigeration systems, lube and oil, non-paper office products. So there's a wide variety of things that are covered in here. And again, it's the most comprehensive I've ever seen any organization pull together. So it's a really good compilation of the things that matter to green purchasers for things that go in and outside of buildings. The way that the two systems are linked is that inside of the product categories that there are product data elements that we can go organize and automate for you. We actually have these little binoculars throughout the system that take you from a product category page directly into our catalog, which supports essentially all the data that you'd have to go out and get by hand. We automate that gathering on a monthly basis. All the eco-labels that are listed in SFTool Product Search are found in our tool, and they're updated on a monthly cadence. So everything from Energy Star that's in appliances that's required, we're going to have a feed directly from Energy Star every single month. So you don't have to go to multiple websites, because many of the product categories that we'll cover have multiple requirements. So you might be going to look for 3 pieces of information. We actually will go grab all 3 of those pieces of information on a monthly basis and show them to you all at once. So you don't have to do any other clicking. You just click on these binoculars and it'll send you directly into the SFTool product search elements. So an example of that is if you were to click into building finishes and then ask for floor coverings, non-carpet, this is what that page would look like in sftool.gov. Here's all the requirements, whether it's bio-preferred, recycled content, cradle to cradle, NSF 332, green squared, living product challenge, declare, SCS indoor advantage, or UL green guard. All of these things would be kind of a separate little scavenger hunt on the web to go find as a procurement officer, a vendor, or a manager approving something for a project. What we've done is with these binoculars at the very top, you click on those binocular, that little green ribbon, and it'll basically send you to a platform that has already been pre-curated. Everything from bio-preferred in this category is in the database. Everything from over 10 of these eco-labels listed over here that are available to us, all that data is in front of you, and now you're just looking at the 8,346 results that have been pre-curated for you that meet your guidelines. So then you can kind of further dive into, I care about this one specific guideline, or I want to look for a brand that, you know, I'm being sold by a vendor. All of those filtration elements that we'll go through the live demo are all available to you in the left-hand navigation with no extra effort. So we're saving you about 90 or 100 clicks here just by not having to go to all those different independent websites. And kind of a variant of that would just be looking at this tool in this kind of a lens, which is we gather the major federal programs and all the third-party eco-labels and certifications, and we gather manufacturer data. We process all of that and then show it to you guys on your platform, SFTool Product Search, in a way that only shows you things that have been curated by the compliance that was necessary. So you don't have to ever worry about, is this or is this not compliant? If it's showing up on this platform, it's been curated across 15 of the big mega categories, 4,500 brands or so. It changes every month based on who guys certifications coming in and out. 20 eco-labels are pulled in, and about 150,000 products are in this database automatically being refreshed every month. So we're trying to make it very easy for you to meet your compliance needs, but also do that in a lot less time and effort than it usually takes a person to go and find all this data on all these independent websites. So with that, I'm going to open it up for questions. I'm going to allow you all to talk on the line in case you'd like to ask a question live. There's not that many folks, so I don't think it's going to be intrusive to just ask you guys if you have any in-person questions you'd like me to answer while we are all together. Feel free to put a question in the chat if you'd rather do that. You're more than welcome to do that as well, but I don't see anything in chat or Q&A right now. So I'll give you guys a couple seconds to chime in if you'd like, or we can continue. So I'll give you guys a couple more seconds. I don't see any questions coming in and anyone raising their hand. So without that, I think you guys are all now unmuted if you wanted to, or you are allowed to talk. If you do unmute, just say something and I can be happy to stop. I know this is a lot of information to cover. So SFTool product search, what we built is we wanted to create a free platform that anybody inside, new tool, are there any reports, Bill? Yeah, we can, I'll show you the reports towards the end of the demo. So it's a free platform. Anyone can use it. You can use it inside the federal government. You can let anyone else in your agency use it. You can allow your distributors, your subcontractors, your project teams, anyone, sales reps that are trying to sell you something, anyone in the entire world allowed to use this tool, both sftool.gov and sftool.ecomedes.com, which we're going to cover today. 100% open, and anyone can use this information to make their life easier. So you can create a free account. The reason why we want you to create an account is you can save your work. So you can build out a project or an entire portfolio of items and analyze them all together as one project. So that's the benefit of doing that. You can kind of save your work. And also in your own account, you can kind of see your overall impact on things. You can search and filter the results. So you can always go through here by product category or any of the subcategories, get your answer very, very quickly. You do really cool analysis and comparison side by side. Since we have a structured database, you can actually see products side by side. Unlike being able to go out to their different websites, you'd never be able to recompile all that data unless you built your own spreadsheets and tables. So that's all built into the tool. And you can also create as many projects as you want with multiple products in them. So you can analyze a single product for compliance, or you can analyze, 5 flooring elements, 10 ceiling tiles, 3 pieces of drywall, all the appliance is in the break room, and hit a button and it'll analyze all of that in one click against the federal standards. And then you can also take a look at the overall performance of you as a buyer or a project team member. So the search is powerful because it has all the different catalog filtration elements available to you. When we go to the live demo about 7 minutes from now, we'll kind of show you how this all works. But you can catalog anything you want by product category. And then once you click a category, that'll give you the subcategory breakdown. You can search directly by brand. You can search by the federal programs, BioPreferred, Energy Star, Safe for Choice, WaterSense. You can search by any of the EPA recommendations. You can search by high performance filters such as EPDs and HPDs. They're not necessarily recommendations that the EPA has actually codified in the rules, but these are other environmental standards that are meeting the guidelines because the product's already met one of these federal programs or EPA guidelines. And you can also search by CSI division if you're doing more project-based work or building-related work on a more granular scale. What that allows you to do is be able to go and drill into very quickly into things like building furniture and then seating and then task seating. And as you kind of click these 3 filters, you'll get to the 699 products that meet those guidelines. And on the left-hand nav, as you kind of further go down the path of a product category, a subcategory, a type, a subtype, it then exposes how many products meet the various eco labels that were on that previous slide with the requirements. So you can see that there's 659 different level products. There's only 5 products that have cradle-to-cradle certification, only 15 products that are declared. So as you're doing the refinement on the left-hand navigation of search, in these parentheses, you're going to actually see how many total products are at the end of that search rainbow. So we're constantly showing you not only what has what data, but you can actually in reverse understand how many products are going to be at the end of that performance metric that I might be putting into my specification. Or if you're writing a specification, it's a really good way to research how constrictive your specification might be in the overall marketplace, because there's no other place you could do that level of research with a couple clicks. You'd have to go build all your own spreadsheets. So that's another really powerful way of looking at not only search as a discovery methodology, but as you're building out specifications, you can use this tool in reverse and see how many products are available on the market that meet that stringent specification I might be writing. The product data that we pull in comes from lots of different data sources. As I said, over 35 eco labels and certifications are bringing data into this platform. So when we bring that data in, we don't just tell you that it's there somewhere on the web. if it's available, we'll actually provide you a hyperlink directly from your product page to those places where that data exists. It could go back to the product manufacturer site. It could go back to transparency documents that they have. This product has a lead transparency summary. So all the different points that lead can provide, all this was part of the GBCI output. You can take a look at that certificate from SCS Global on BIFMA level, their HPD, and their declare certificate. So not only do we tell you that that certificate exists, those hyperlinks remain active in the tool. So if you ever needed to share this product page with somebody, this entire set of data is always going to be fresh and refreshed as you guys share those PDFs out. So it's a really powerful way of getting one page really signify about 8 pages of additional data all at your fingertips. Whenever you roll over any data in our system on the right-hand side, it'll not only tell you who gave it to us, like SCS or Declare or Energy Star or WaterSense, but it'll also have a comma and the date that that data was last updated in the platform. So it'll show you when the last date of update was and who gave us the data, because many times that data of certification is coming from another third party. We want to give you not only the link, but tell you who gave it to us and when they gave it to us. Having all that data structured allows us to take a look at things apples to apples, and we'll do a live demo of this feature in a second, but just shows you that there's a lot of information associated with these 4 chairs. So there's an entire 2 pages on the web of nothing but technical details, again, all side by side. Had you gone to all 4 of these brands' websites, you'd have to pull this data down, pull it out of a bunch of PDFs, and then go build your spreadsheet here. You can do that reporting. So if these were maybe 4 chairs you used in a project, you could do it like that, or you needed to pick the best chair that meets your needs, but also has all the green documentation. You'll be able to say, put all these in a comparison, hit a button. You can actually have this as a live demo page you can share out as a web link, or you can just go ahead and print this page out if you wanted to print it out side by side. That single click product data mapping that's happening on those previous pages allows you to actually evaluate a product without having to know really what all these different elements mean. You can just say, I want to know this product is aligned with federal guidelines. In this little button that we'll see in a second, document contributions, you just say, I want to analyze this product against federal guidelines. It'll show you that it's compliant. We also have every other green building rating system standard in the United States, also in this drop-down menu, so you can analyze this product against LEED, WELL, LBC, any of the other rating systems that are out there. You can actually just analyze that. So a baked-in kind of consultant inside the system will analyze all the data associated with this chair and then tell you which credits or which global kind of GPC criteria this thing meets. So in furniture, in the GPC, it's just federal compliant, you're good. If you're doing this for LEED, there's actually 7 different ways this chair can contribute to a LEED certification. So even if you're not certifying the LEED, you can actually get all that documentation run out of the system, again, all for free. You just need to sign up for an account. And the last 2 things we'll cover here is we create simple energy and water impact analysis. So if we have product data around energy consumption and water consumption, primarily coming from Energy Star and WaterSense, all the user needs to do is say, how long of an analysis would I like to run? In this case is 10 years. And then how many of these products am I buying? 100 of these light bulbs. And it'll automatically take the energy cost, which you can change here. The default is 15 cents per kilowatt hour. And it'll analyze how 100 of these light bulbs with this Energy Star data, how many kilowatts of energy will it save my building? And then how many dollars will that equate to over whatever time period I look at? So you can change this, and we'll do it in demo, to 3 years. The entire graph will recalculate itself. If you want to do 15 years, it'll expand itself and do 15 years of calculation. So we take this data as much as we can, and we make it dynamically available to you. So you get some more intelligence out of just raw data. That's sometimes helpful, but sometimes you want to kind of put it to use and say, if I replaced all the light bulbs with these, how much energy would we save? Or how much money would my agency save? Or my building manager? So this is kind of a nice little baked-in tool. It's available in mostly lighting, and we have a couple other appliance categories where we have calculators turned on. In plumbing, it's the same exact thing, slightly different calculation for plumbing fixtures, faucets, showers, toilets, urinals. You're going to need to know the female and the male occupants so that we can actually calculate how many times people are going to use those fixtures, and then again, convert the fixture savings from WaterSense into a gallons saved and also dollars saved over time. So you can adjust the time horizon for the analysis as well. It'll be dependent on how many people are in the building. And then the reason why we break out male and female is that if you're doing a water budget calculation, you have an account for urinals. It'll only count the male occupants using those fixtures. So it's got some baked in intelligence into the system. So it makes it a little easier for you to do plumbing and water analysis. And ultimately, the last feature I'll show you before we stop, do another poll and we'll dive into live demo is you can actually take multiple products into one project. So as you're kind of coming through the system, you're analyzing it. You can say, I like that light bulb. I like that chair. I like that dishwasher. I like that flooring. I like that monitor. You can dump them into a project, and all those products will be evaluated by quantity, unit price. So the reporting you can do against, say, a PO or a purchase order or an order that you're thinking about making or an order that the vendor has given you over for review, you can actually have the vendor, the subcontractor or the supplier actually build out their own summary using your platform and get all the data all coming in from the same source that you'd be looking at it at. So a lot of procurement officers are starting to share this with their vendor teams, and their vendor teams can pull together data a lot faster than they used to be able to do that before. And then ultimately, with one button, just like you can analyze a project with one click, you can actually look at all the ingredients in this entire demo, and all 25 of these products can be analyzed on the fly, not only how much was spent on them, but how they were compliant with federal guidelines. So that was one of the things we wanted to automate all the way through, from research all the way through documentation and reporting of a specific product or project or procurement. All of that's automated for you, so you don't have to really lift too many fingers and being able to kind of sort all that data out into a meaningful report. So I'm going to start poll number 2 now. Let me go get that one turned on. Let's see. Poll number 2. No, that's poll number 3. Sorry about that. So the next question will be pretty straightforward. You know, what of those features that you just saw, that kind of static demo, do you feel would be most helpful to your current workflow or the current responsibilities you have at your agency on being able to do the analysis? And then with that, if you guys have any questions, please unmute yourself or put them in the chat or the Q&A, and I can stop before we go into the live demo and answer those. Thank you for doing such good participation in the poll. We'll give you guys another 30 seconds to get that done. Very good. Thank you guys for doing that. This is really helpful. Tracks a lot to like the last couple scenarios that we've done with training last couple weeks. Awesome. I'll end the poll and then share the results with you guys. So as you guys can see, you know, the dominant thing was product, you know, comparison apples to apples, followed by product page hyperlinks and filtration of the eco labels. That kind of ranks with the same way that most of the polling results have been coming in recently. So if anyone doesn't have any questions, I'll go into the actual live demo. If you have 2 monitors, or you can, or if you'd like to, you can go to sftool.ecomedia.com and just create an account while we do it so we can do it live together. And I'll walk you through the same functions that we just covered, but kind of in a more methodical way so you guys can see kind of a live demo and hear and see the stuff at the same time. But if you want to follow along on your own mouse and keyboard, you're more than welcome to build an account with me as we go. I'm going to take one step back before we dive in and just show you sftool.gov. So this is the .gov site, sftool.gov, and then, you know, the learn, the plan, the explore sections as we talked about. I'll show you really quickly when if you go into like open office area explore, this is that kind of like 3-dimensional model. So if you hover over any of the elements in here, it'll bring up the information like, oh, I want to know more about flooring, give you design guidelines, comparison systems, and then federal guidelines. So all this information is really dynamic and simple for you to use, but a much more graphical exploration of that information. If I went into procure, this is the green procurement compilation. If I want to do the same thing and go look for flooring, I can click on building finishes. And here I have a whole wide variety from acoustical ceiling tiles to floor coverings, non-carpet, floor tiles, carpet, all kinds of different categories. So if I delve into floor coverings like we did in the static demo, we have all these guidelines that we can go out to. So if we were to click through all these, we've gone on a little scavenger hunt looking for products that are floor score, declare, or IFLI certified, NSF 332, or green circle, or green cradle to cradle, or bio preferred. But up here are the binoculars we talked about. You click on any of the binoculars that are available, that will take you directly from this .gov site directly to our platform, which has actually gone out and done that research. So when you did that click, what we did is we went and found 8,739 results that meet those guidelines. If you kind of hover over in the left-hand navigation, and I opened up federal programs or EPA recommendations or additional high-performance programs, these are all the eco labels that have served up these 8,737 products. So if you had a certain brand in mind, you can actually click the brand little menu button, and then you'll see all the different products in here from every brand that has, and you'll also see how many of them have the product. So 228 from Inner Ceramic. We have, 28 from Lawn Seal. So 93 from Mohawk, and Mohawk Industries has 1,223. So as you go through this process, you can actually expose yourself to more and more products. And then if you click on any of the actual products, they'll tell you what certification that product had. So in this case, this product had a floor score certification. If I wanted to see that product floor score certification, just click on these blue hyperlinks and they'll direct me to that Mohawk Industries floor score certificate. So saving you about 8 clicks on the web to go find that information if you're going to do it from scratch. So the whole point is to try to make it very easy for you guys to find the data that you want. And anywhere that you're researching the guidelines inside of sftool.gov, you'll be able to take that hyperlink, those binoculars, directly to a product catalog that meets those guidelines. So we'll kind of start back at the top. It's very easy to create an account. It doesn't take any effort at all. It's not tied to any of your actual GSA or NASA or anything like that emails. You just go to sign up, put in your name, your email address, and a password. Again, don't make it tied to anything else. You can make it super easy to remember. We don't carry any of your personal information. There's no credit cards, nothing. It's just purely just to know who you are so that you can save your work. And once you do that and create an account, one of the benefits is that it tracks all of your project work. So this is my project work account for SFTool. It tracks total gallons I've saved with all the projects below that I've built with the dollar amount. It also tracks my kilowatts of savings potential and the dollar amount. And every one of my projects that I've ever built for SFTool are all characterized in here. So it tracks the name, all the different ingredients that I've grabbed and put in these projects across multiple product categories are all being saved at one spot. This one had a plumbing fixture, so it shows me the water savings across a 3-year analysis. If I wanted to do a 5-year analysis, I could change it to 5. If I wanted to do a 10-year analysis, I could change it to 10. And automatically, the system's always recalibrating that work for you as if you had like a free assistant sitting by your side. If I wanted to add a rating system beyond federal, I could do that. Go in here and hit lead CI, hit evaluate. And just that quickly, it'll run the entire project cost, $499,000. And it'll show me how I was compliant with federal guidelines and all my lead credits, how many dollars I'll save in water. And every one of the product cut sheets are along for the ride. So all this data, including all these hyperlinks, just gets pulled along. So you can do this as many times as you want. And that's one of the biggest benefits of why people create an account is that they can save their work and always go back and maybe adjust the SKU, add a SKU, adjust the quantity, adjust the price. Again, vendors can do this as well. There's no limit to the number of projects you can analyze. And this scorecard is going to be important. At the end, I'll show you what Sandia National Laboratories is working on to be able to have individual people roll ups. Like this is my account, Paul Shariari, but it could roll up and everybody at my company could have a roll up and we could give that data over to Sandia or NASA or whoever our customer is, excuse me, at the federal government level. So let me go back in here and start the search again. So as I said, you could do graphical search from any of these product categories. So you can click construction materials and then you'll see all the other subcategories on the left-hand nav. So here you can kind of dive into, I want to look at wallboard and gypsum. Here are the 54 results. Here are the different eco labels that drive those excuse me, results, and you have it all at your fingertips. So cradle to cradle, UL, SCS is all available to you. And if you click on a product page, all that individualized documentation is available to you without any more looking. It even has locations of manufacturer if available. So if you want to click on view more, I'll actually send you to the other locations that are available for this type of drywall. Another way to search is by left-hand navigation. Same product categories are available, But if you went into something like building finishes, you'd have all the different building finishes from ceiling tiles to composite panels. So that's another way to kind of keep diving further and further into the mix, is you'll find more and more data as you kind of go further into the space. So acoustical ceiling types and tiles, and then you'll see the brands available to you from that level. One of the biggest ways that people drive review is right out of the eco label. So if you want to see, I want to look at stuff that's biopreferred, I'm driven to make sure I meet my guidelines for that. With one click, you'll see all of biopreferred and then all the subcategories that biopreferred has. So you can go, I'm looking for a construction material that's biopreferred. Now I'll have all the subcategories that have biopreferred construction materials, and so on and so forth. So you can kind of go looking for what you're searching for as a product category, or if you have a specific eco label or federal program you want to make sure you check the box on, you can do it like that. Another really popular one is looking for things that are Energy Star, so you can meet your Energy Star guidelines. You can say, well, what's available to me in Energy Star? So then it's categories like building appliances, building furnishings, cafeteria products, HVAC, lighting. All of those are available. So if we click office electronics, all the subcategories are available to us there. So enterprise servers, data center storage, computers, laptops, monitors. So in monitors, you can say, well, that's a lot of monitors. Maybe I got to find a certain specific size. So maybe my office is updating new monitors for everyone. They're between 27 and 29 inches. Now there's only 232 results. And we have other ways to kind of further refine it. Energy Star was one way. There's another standard called EPEAT that the federal government uses. You can see everything that's bronze, gold, or silver. And some of the agencies have a requirement to only buy gold or the highest available EPEAT rating. So with one click, you'll see now all the Energy Star monitors that are also EPEAT gold. There's 26 of them. And if a vendor was telling you that they comply, but they're not Dell, HP, or Lenovo, you'd know that, you might want to ask them where they're getting that information from, because these are the only 3 brands that have products that are EPEAT gold and also Energy Star certified. So really it starts to narrow down your searches or your vendor searches by things that matter to you most, and gives you that information in your fingertips fairly quickly and mostly effortlessly. Another way to kind of start putting together a project would be just to find, say, a comparison. So we'll take a look at this feature right now. So if you have a product and you're looking and you're done doing some refinement, you don't want to really start looking for 30,000 worth of things. So say I go into seating and I have a specific type of seating, maybe it's for classroom seating. So here's all the classroom seating products. I immediately see all the brands that have a product available in that category. And if I wanted to analyze them, I could just say, I'd like to look at this human scale product. I'd like to look at this VS product. I'm going to then look at another couple brands here. Let's go down further into the mix. I'll look at a KI product, a VS seating product. Let's see, add that to comparison, and I'll add this last National Office Furniture, no comparison. So all the ones that are compared now have this light blue line around them to kind of help you figure out which ones you've selected. And if I click on View Comparison, it'll now put all these products side by side. So I have 5 brands of classroom seating products. I can see I have some information to get contact information. I have phone numbers. And then down below, I have every one of them have a product page. So I can link back to that product page and find out more information. I have master format. One has told me where it's manufactured, in this case, several different locations. Some specification hyperlinks, reusable, recyclable. All of them have BIFMA level, but some are BIFMA 3, BIFMA 2, BIFMA 3. One has a green tick certificate at a gold level. And then as I go down here, one has an HPD, if I was looking for that. One has LBC Red List approved, and then 2 of them have SES Indoor Advantage. So without doing any effort, I've recycled content data at my fingertips. Some don't provide any recycled content, but very quickly you can kind of go through and see the data side by side to make a better decision. And if you don't like a certain product, you can always just take it out of the running by just clicking remove, and it'll be taken out of the comparison. Any questions on that? Would anyone like to provide any comments on the apples to apples comparison available? What I'm going to do is show you how, if you go to the top bar of navigation, you grab that URL. I'm going to put it in the chat for everyone. you guys will be able to see that if you were to put this into an email or specification, you want to share with other internal colleagues or external colleagues, if any of you guys click on that hyperlink that I just put to the chat, let's see, make sure it's in the chat, right? You guys, when actually click on it on your own laptop or iPad or phone, it'll take you right to the same exact page. So what's nice is you can actually embed some of these kind of tools directly into your communications with the rest of your team, and they will be able to see exactly what you're seeing when you're doing a comparison or a product evaluation live together. We are working on ways to actually share this more ubiquitously with other registered users. That'll be probably coming out later on this year, but that's one way of being able to do that in a side-by-side scenario. So let's see if we go back without any other questions on comparison. I want to show you how to start building projects the same way I just built a comparison. So let's say we were doing a break room renovation and I wanted to go fill it out with products in an example. So I'll go in here and I'll find a residential refrigerator. You can actually search by width. So if you knew the width of the cabinet, let's just pretend we know it's 23.6. You can choose by type. So this is very much like a normal e-commerce website. Would be searchable, and then search by capacity and things like that. So I'm just going to add this same way to comparison. I can add it to a project. You can only do this if you've created an account. So that's the only caveat. So I'm going to say GSA demo 61021. And also allow you to put in a zip code if you want to do distance to manufacturing calculations. So now I've got one product in there. And if I went to projects, just to show you how that worked, is just by doing that, I created a project. And now that one refrigerator is in my demo project already. So if I say I was doing 2 floors, I need 2 of these refrigerators, and then the vendor just told me that they're going to cost $650. So I hit save, and now I've got a refrigerator savings, energy savings calculation in my tool. Go back in here and say, okay, now the next thing I need to do is go find a dishwasher. So go into the same type of analysis, find the dishwasher, and look for something that's Energy Star. So I'll say federal programs, Energy Star, appliances, and that thing has a dishwasher. So I'm gonna go grab the 801 that are there, and I'm gonna maybe find a GE one. So I can actually go to just the GE branded dishwashers that Energy Star. I like this one. I'll add that one to my project, and I'll find my project down here, GSA demo 610, I'll add that. And now I'll go shopping for some more things. So we're going to redo the flooring in the break room. So we're going to go find some good non-carpet flooring. And that'll probably be in here. And I'll pick maybe, let's see here, who will I pick? I will pick lawn seal. So go in here and say, oh, that's a nice blue. I'll pick that. I'll add it to my project. And if you're doing multiple ads, it'll start recognizing you're probably going to add it to that project. So it'll pop up as a default. You can always change which project. It'll always remember which projects you have built in the past. We'll go in here and say, I need some tables for my furniture in my break room. So I'm going to go in here and find a couple tables. And let's see here. I want to find a nice Herman Miller table. So I'll go in there and do that. And let's see, that doesn't look like a break room table. That might not be that bad. So I'll add that one to the project. And now I've got a table, I've got some flooring. Now I got to go get a couple other things. So I'll go get some lights. So I can go into lighting and ceiling fans. Same thing, hit light bulbs. Now there's a lot of light bulbs in there, 11,000 choices. So maybe they're just regular can lights that I want to go get some better bulbs for. We're not going to replace the fixtures. And again, I can actually look at these things and filter by lumens per watt. So this is the most efficient light in the upper left-hand corner of the 2,643 results. You can actually go into other things like damp location rating or wattage equivalency. So there's lots of ways to kind of slice and dice the data to get to the kind of brand you want or the kind of level you want. And maybe Cree is the manufacturer I've used before, and I'm going to add that to my project. And just to get a plumbing fixture into the analysis, I'm just going to add a plumbing fixture, even though it wouldn't be inside the break room, but they'll be maybe down the hall. We'll get a better dual flush toilet or a single flush toilet that's 1 gallon per flush into the bathroom. And I'll add that just to show you guys how all of it could be pulled into one. So I've added about 7 products in about 5 minutes. And if I go to my project now, there's many more SKUs than just that little lonely refrigerator at the beginning. So if my light count was say 30 and they were $12, and then my GE Dishwasher, there's only, well, actually 2 floors of break room, so there's 2, and those were $585. We need 20 tables, 10 on each floor. They're each $350. 2 refrigerators already in there. Lawn, we have flooring, so we have, say, 5,000 square feet across the 2 floors, and they're $4.50 a square foot. And then we have 2 break room floors, bathrooms on each floor. So let's just say we need 20 toilets, and they're about $450 each. So if I hit save, now I've got all these products in the one project. And what's cool is I actually have 3 things in here that can save me energy because of their Energy Star rating. Not all of them are going to be able to save me money the same way. I can analyze them all at once to showcase kilowatt saves in dollars, or I can individually isolate each one. So if I need to present to my team, I can say, wow, this light bulb is really a good payback. But if I want to just look at the refrigerator, not that good of a payback, but I still want to save energy. And then maybe this product is automatically going to be able to save me money because it's just a better product. So you can adjust baselines here for the lamp baseline or the G refrigerator or the dishwasher. All these baselines are addressable, and they can be adjusted as to whatever it is you need to do that. Same thing with water. If we had water budget calculation here, but we didn't have 100 people on each floor, maybe there's only 50 people on each floor, I can adjust that, and it actually lengthens the length of analysis and the water savings available to me. So very dynamic tools that are designed to make it easier for you to make those decisions. And then at the end, you just say, I want to see federal guidelines documented, and maybe I want to do a lead commercial interiors analysis just because I'd love to know how good we did. And I can pick Living Building Challenge, which is another rating system. And if I was going to go for all 3, I could do WELL, which is another health-centric green building rating system, hit evaluate without having to need a consultant or anything else. You have this entire $41,000 procurement analyzed. You have all the product subcategories, all the federal guidelines that have been met. Living Building Challenge, WELL, and LEED documentation is analyzed. And underneath it, you have the water and energy calculations for the month, a year, or whatever the total length of analysis you've decided to add. And then every one of the product cut sheets are available to everyone to see. And you can actually just PDF the entire report if you need to submit it to somebody. And the system will generate a PDF of all that information that's on the web. It's already housed and saved in your account. And you can share that or add it to a PO or however you guys need to do documentation. I know every agency is slightly different, but ultimately you have all this information, GSA, letterhead, and then the generation of when that documentation was generated on June 10th, 2021. All that is available to you, and anyone can use it to create documentation free on the fly as they need it to support green procurement. And now this entire impact of this project that we just built together, this has now been added to my gallons and my energy count. So now I've, if I was doing this project for real, I would be able to say, hey, I work at this agency. Here's the estimated savings of my work for the year towards the agency's goal of, either kilowatt reductions, gallons reductions, or dollar reductions. So with that, I will ask one more poll question and then open it up for questions. But I wanted to share with you guys one thing about what we're doing for the folks at Sandia is we are working to help the individual user, like I have shown you on my own account, take all the project work and all the procurement work and roll that up into one account by agency. So Sandia is piloting this new feature that we're developing right now, where all their buyers and all their project teams can actually get a report on every single action that they do in a bucket that's called compliant, non-compliant, and then non-applicable. Some product categories don't exist, so you're not going to get dinged for not buying a green product in a category that doesn't have a green rule. But it is easier for them to roll that up, and then across all their buyers and all their federal consultants, they can say, how did we do as an agency to be compliant, non-compliant, and then there might have a dollar amount that's non-applicable. So as that evolves, I'm sure we'll be doing some more training out to the various agencies that are interested. If your agency is interested, please, send me an email after this or respond to the output with the PDF of the training. Love to hear from you guys and show you guys what we're building. And if that would be of assistance to you guys as you guys do some of this year-end reporting for this fiscal year, love to show you kind of what next year will be available to any agency that would like to license that functionality. So with that, I will get to the last poll question and answer any questions you guys might have. So let's see, go to the next poll, poll number 3. There's 2 questions here. The first one is, how impactful do you guys feel SFTool Product Search will be on your workflow now that you've kind of seen a live demo and a static demo of the different elements? And then what improvements do you feel SFTool Product Search will deliver to you and your team now that you guys know how to use it and could deploy it, you know, on work that might happen later on this afternoon or tomorrow or next week? So we'd love to get some feedback on what you saw most useful, and then what you guys think we could deliver to you as you guys start implementing this work within how you guys buy and run projects. So thanks for participating. And any of you guys that want to unmute, feel free, and be happy to answer any questions you guys might have. All right, thanks for participating in the poll. Looks like 55% of you guys have, so 5 of the 9, that's pretty good. And if any of you guys have any questions, please feel free, happy to answer them. If you don't want to, you know, ask them live, you're more than welcome to asking us to do a special training just for your agency, and then we can actually go through either a specific project you guys are working on, or if you guys have some specific agency goals you guys would like to leverage SFTool on, more than welcome to kind of give you a live demo on how we would use the tool and the platform to solve that specific need for your agency. So with that, I'll open it up, and if I don't see any, I happily give you guys your 8 minutes back for the hour, and feel free to drop off if you guys needed to jump and get to another call. But I don't see any other questions. Thank you guys for saying thanks for being part of it. How can we access the recording of this training to share with others? We will be sending out the recording link after this along with the PDF. So you guys will get that in the mail and the email probably before the end of the week, if not first thing next week. And we are doing these trainings every 2 weeks. So let me show you guys where you guys can see that. If you go to sftool.gov, you can sign up for additional trainings. If you go to Procure tab, right up here in the upper right-hand corner for federal project and procurement teams, there's one more, I think, listed for June. And then we're going to be adding July, August, all the way through December. So if you guys want, please feel free to share this and let somebody else sign up for the June 24th one. They can look at the recording, or if your agency would like to have a specific one about your specific goals, we're more than welcome to kind of do a deep dive and learn about what you guys are looking for, and then do a training on how to use the tool the best, because there's so many of you guys doing different things in the federal government. So love to help that out in any way possible. I don't see any other questions, so I'll sign off and give you guys your 7 minutes back before the top of the hour. Thank you guys so much for your effort. Thank you for filling out the poll questions as we went along, and I'll share those back out, the answers of that back out with you as well in the email. So thank you very much. Have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.